South Sudanese, there is a voice clip that I will display. You will hear by yourself. But the language that was used by Lul Raikong was a very isolated language. You do remember in 2025, when the Nasser incident happened, this Republic of JCE government, because that's not the Republic of South Sudan government, it is the Republic of JCE government. They went and make a fake peace with the Agulek forces. They say that Agulek is recruited into the SSPDF. That's how they fooled South Sudanese. Abu Shok and Agulek, they give them the uniform. They call them new recruited SSPDF. That was a way to lure them to go and commit crime so that they can get away with the crimes. This government, the JCE government, they are committing crime, but they use isolated language against Agulek. I hope the Agulek forces hears what Lul Raikong says. Because if they cannot open their ears and listen, analyze the language that was used by Lul Raikong, then the JCE government has already dodged responsibility by blaming the Agulek. So they make a fake peace in 2025 so that these people can be sent to go and ethnically cleanse the Nuer people in Upper Nile and Jonglei. As we're speaking right now, they are committing crimes in Low Nuer land and Ayud. So of the 25 people in Ayud that were collected in Pankor village, where the so-called SSPDF, which now they call Agulek force, yeah, they went collecting people using a microphone. They deceive them that they will be registered for food because people are being chased away from their homes. They do not have blankets. They do not have food to eat. They were hungry. So they thought these ones are SSPDF. They thought that they mean good to them. They called them that there's a registration for food, that there's an aid coming. After they have collected these women and children, they tied their hands behind their backs and then they were shot at. Now this man is using an isolated language, trying to tell the South Sudanese that it is not the SSPDF, but instead it is Agulek force. Let's listen to him.
Between 21 to 27 civilians were killed. I'm not sure about the circumstances under which they were killed, but I think this week we brought the matter to the attention of Chief of Defense Forces. No, it was this week or last week. And the measures he took was for those who were involved to be arrested. We got information, or CDF was told, that some elements from Agulek, which is being commanded by Gerald Johnson Ulun, were responsible. About 60 soldiers and the command of 2 officers, one officer at the rank of major and another one at the rank of captain, left their base without permission from the commanding officer. They went to Pankor village and under unclear circumstances started killing civilians.
Now, after you have heard Lul Raikong using isolated language, there is another word that I will tell you he used. He says he does not know under which circumstances that has led the tribal militia, SSPDF, to the killing of unarmed innocent children and women. my question to you as a South Sudanese who are listening and heard the voice clip of Lul Raikong, what could be the reason to justify the killing of unarmed civilians, children and women, not even men, because men were about 3, majority were children and women. So this language that Lul Raikong has used is not only him, because this is a language they have all agreed, including Polnang, the Minister of Defense. Right now they are telling the South Sudanese that they do not know what justified the killing of these innocent women and children. What do you think could be the reason, apart from those people being from Nuer tribe? What is the reason? Because they do not have guns. They were just all looking for food. And they were even deceived. They did not go and beg this tribal militia themselves. They were called using a microphone. Because in their minds, they thought that SSPDF is a national army. They didn't know this is a tribal army. They saw that they will be helped. But they didn't know that was their last day. Do you think if they were from the Dinka community, they would be murdered like that by the tribal militia? SSPDF is a tribal army. Those people are tribal militia. They just give them a national uniform so that their crimes can be covered up. So Lul Raikong is trying to convince the South Sudanese that there might be some circumstances that has led to the killing of unarmed children and women. That's bullshit. The question remains, apart from those people being from the Nuer ethnicity, which was the justification to kill those people. That's how I see it, and that's how it is. This is not a new case. Since from 2013, they have been killing the Nuer people because they are from that ethnicity. A language that was used by Johnson Mulun is something that we could use to justify this. So Lul Raikong is another Nuer man that the Dinka is using so that they can cover up their crime. They will say, no, you know, there are Nuer people here. We are not doing that. That's a covering up of the crimes. That's why they are sending Nuer generals to the front line. If you see the generals, 8 of them right now leading the war in Jonglei State, they are all from Nuer. 8 generals of them. Like, when there is a court, they will say, no, we are not the one. We are not the one. Nuer themselves were the one killing themselves. So and so was a general in front line. You see that? This is how they are using the other people to do their crimes. Because they have the mentality of dominating the South Sudanese, but they see the Nuer tribe as a threat to the Dinka domination. Now they are targeting the Nuer people, but they are not targeting the Nuer people by themselves, because there will be consequences. So they need to look for other people, like Agolek, like the Nuer themselves. And then later on, when there's a case being raised, they will say, no, it was Agolek who was committing crime. It was the Nuer people themselves fighting themselves. We, the Dinka, we have nothing to do with it. They will use that justification. That's why they're using those of Lul Raikong right now. But the question remains, what is the circumstances that could lead the so-called SSPDF to go and mercilessly kill innocent children and women.